It's the second day, and we're sending live to you from in between halls 7 and 9. We have a full day packed with interesting talks and innovations, and we're going to start off with STÄUBLI. Here with me is Andrea Tansini. He's local head of pharma and medical at STÄUBLI, Italy, and he's going to talk to us about harnessing robotics in contamination-controlled equipments and do a presentation, our first presentation in the program, so we're all very excited. Andrea, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. So, the presentation of today basically is all about innovation in order to push the bar higher for robotics in aseptic equipment. So we'll go through a little bit of introduction in robotics in pharma production. We will talk about why our current offering needs to be, let's say, furtherly upgraded because of the regulations. We will talk about the results of the innovation process, and then also about the validation and documentation package that is the main part that allows us to innovate and push the innovation forward. And at the end, of course, we will have a quick wrap-up with a brief video. So, robotics in pharma production. As you can see in the slide, all the environment and sensitive environments in the pharma production can basically be divided in 4 levels. The less challenging one is the final packaging with an ISO 8 class, and then there is the level 3 inspection and secondary packaging with ISO 7, and then level 2 and level 1 that are basically isolators, RABs, clean room, grade A, and so on. So where contamination needs to be controlled as much as possible in order to reduce the risk of contamination. So from all over the part of the pharma production, we can see that robots are already used in a massive way, from laboratory automation to API research and production, liquid and solid production, and so on, going, of course, through auxiliary process and biotherapies. So even if robotics is already used and has been already used by OEMs and end users since a lot of years, there is the need of upgrade the performances, the documentation, and so on. And why is that? Basically because the regulations are changing, and it has just been introduced, the new Annex 1 for the GMP, and also FDA is looking how to improve production also through the use of robotics. And this means that there are more opportunities for automation, but also that there is the need to align the automation processes and automation solutions that are today on the market. So, as STÄUBLI has, let's say, a pretty representative installed base in isolator and grade A environments, we have more than 1,500 units all over the world working in isolators, and we decided we need to step forward in order to push the innovation with the help, let's say, of the regulators and so on. And this brought us to a partnership with SCAN where we tested our solution, our current range of robots. We found a point of interest and a point to be improved in order to better answer to more intensive cycle of cleaning, more intensive biodecontaminating cycle, and so on. And this brought us from the Stericlean that is today used, and you can see also all over the exhibition in a lot of machines of OEMs from all over the world, to the Stericlean Plus. So what is the Stericlean Plus? The Stericlean Plus is, we can define it as an upgrade of the Stericlean version of our robots, and is made for isolator use and for grade A environment. If FDA is made of FDA compliant material, as you can see, it has a very improved hygienic design, higher cleaning performances, and is most of all validated with a documentation and validation package that is delivered with the robot. As you can see, here there is the list of the most important innovation we brought. So with the hygienic design, we are going to go into more details in the following slides. Basically, it covers all the mechanical parts of the robots improved in order to resist better at grade A performances. There is an improved tightness. The hygienic wrist is has also been coated with a FDA-approved coating. There is a smart design, but we will see better into details in a few minutes. And most importantly, it brings also a cultural change, we can say, because it's delivered with a complete validation and documentation package made in collaboration with SCAN, and it reports all the answers the OEMs and the end users might need to help, for example, with the contamination control strategy and to validate and qualify in a smoother way their equipment. So, as you can see, going into details, we have a new FDA-approved coating for all the robots, body, all the arms, and most importantly, also at the wrist of the robots. This particular surface treatment is made in order to withstand intensive cycle of cleaning and decontamination. So if you need an application in isolator with highly toxic drugs and you want to avoid cross-contamination, for sure this is the choice to go with in order to have an intensive cleaning without any kind of concern. All the covers of the robots have been redesigned. We completely removed the screws. Now there is an innovative capping system with stainless steel in order to increase the cleanability. All the gaskets of the robots are now FDA compliant in order to, and they allow to avoid point of concern with the niche and so on in order to have a smoother cleaning process. The veering of the dynamic sealing of the robots allow us to have more cleanability, more smooth cleanability, as we said. And all these innovation, all these modifications was the results of a continual test, design, and measure the results. And this was made thanks to a lot of tests that now are used to bring value as the validation package. So the process of innovating was through a lot of analysis, and now the analysis itself is used to provide value to the end user and to the end customers. What is a validation package? We will see into details in the next slides. It's a series of tests, a series of answers we need to use in order to deliver value to the solution we deliver. It helps, of course, the machine builder to qualify the machine, the whole machine in less time than before. Helps, of course, in the creation of the contamination control strategy up to the standards of the new Annex 1, and of course also increase the acceptance by the end users, because they start to see the robot not as a black box, but as a tool they understand and they are familiar with. And for end users, it increases, of course, the transparency of the material used in the robotic solution. It gives tangible proof that is compatible with, for example, the grade A environments or grade B environments performance is requested, and is especially designed for isolator, because all the, let's say, question that comes up regarding contamination control strategy, cleaning, process validation, and so on, can find an answer into the documentation and validation package. So How is composed the validation and documentation package? We have a series of tests that help in characterizing the robots into details. We have the D-value evaluation for all the material that are composing the robots, so the casting, the covers, the screws, the gaskets, and so on. We have the chemical resistance test, of course, as a matrix that allow you to see the compatibility of all materials that compose the robot with respect to the most used and most important decontamination agents and cleaning agents. We have the surface roughness of all materials, again, in order to understand how all the robots is built accordingly to increase as much as we can the cleanability of the robot, reducing the surface roughness. We have the microbiological resistance test for, again, all material of the robots, because we need to be sure not only that we can clean and decontaminate the robot smoothly, but that also if a bacteria comes into contact with the robot, it doesn't have the nutrients to grow. And so we have been able also to assess all these kind of performances. A complete still of all materials characterization of the H2O2 cycle in order to characterize the contamination cycle and the clean all time accordingly. And then last but not least, if all the previous test was let's say, performed on a disassembled robot, there is also the cleanability test with the riboflavin that is performed on the robot itself, on the whole robot, because it really depends on the morphology of the robotic arm you are installing and testing, and this helps in understand the point of interest where the cleaning need to be done more intensively, and the point where the cleaning, for example, on the robot arm itself can be done very easily, because his surface roughness allow you with a simple white cleaning to have a validated cleaning cycle. Then let's say the certification, the qualification package, the validation and documentation package, as we call it, is composed by 4 parts. The first one is related to the robot itself, is a description of the robot you will be delivered itself. So, for example, the TX260 with all his performances and data sheet. Then there is a second part that is the part related to certification and norms. So, for example, if you need a UR robot or a CE marked robot, you will have all the list of certificates into the validation and documentation package. Then the third part, the product validation tests, are linked to what we have just seen in the slide before. So all the characterization of the robot, and is the tangible proof that the robot is the perfect solution in a matter of contamination control and contamination-controlled environments. And given these tests basically are destructive tests, we cannot perform the test on all robots we deliver. The tests are performed as on a sample robotics arm in order that we can assess the performances, and then we have introduced a complete new quality assurance and traceability test that allow us to assess that every robot that will leave our factories will be up to the standards declared into the test we have just seen. So there is a specifically designed surface roughness test, and coating of the robot will be tested in a specific test that allow us to have all performances that we tested as we seen. The final part is the quality control. Is a little bit of what I've already said, with also all the tests that will characterize the robot itself as performance, as a robot, not only for cleaning, but as an automatic machine. So you will have the clean room certificate according to the ISO standard. You will have the ISO class of the robot. Of course, Stericlean Plus, given is made for isolator, will come in an ISO 5 compliant performance. You will have all the material information regarding the robot coding, the flange, the joint sealing, and so on, and also the characterization of the oil, that will be an H1, so food compliant, food contact compliant oil, and so on. So the last part we have seen related to the quality control is linked to the precision test, brake power test, and all the tests that allow us to assess that the robot is safe and is working as we designed it and as you need. And the good, we can say, part of the validation package is that given that all the tests we made, we specifically do for each single robot that leave the factory, it will be linked to the specific serial number of the robot in order that you will be 100% sure that the specific robot has been tested, has been assessed as qualitative compliant with our high standard of construction and production, and will be characterized univocally with all performances you need under controlled, contamination-controlled environments. So, as key takeaways, we can say the robot is made for isolator and is born for isolator and grade A performances. It's been an interesting journey, also thanks to our partner Scan, testing our solution that will still be available, and in let's say more more demanding application will still be as a solution available. But for the, we can say, the Champions League of isolator production and grade A environments, of course, the Stericlean Plus will be the let's say the solution to go with. So in order to wrap up, I would like to show you just a video that summarizes all the introduction we made with this innovative product. And if you need any specific infos, you can find us in the Hall 15. And if you have questions, then just contact me and I will be happy to answer.
Well, Andrea, thank you so much for giving us those insights into robotics and especially the new version of the Stericlean Plus. That was great. It gave me some very new information.